Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Blame It on the Stars, where we give you an inside look at what's going on in the universe so you can blame your problems on the stars. It is Jade here.
And it's Kara.
And this week, we're talking all about Mercury entering Taurus and the full moon in Scorpio. Two very grounded but a little intense transits that are coming your way. But in case you missed it, last week we talked all about Venus re-entering Aries and Pluto stationing retrograde. So if you want to know more about that, then definitely check out last week's episode before diving into this one.
And just to give you a heads up, next week we'll tell you everything that you need to know about Jupiter square at the North Node and how that affects you.
And with that being said, let's dive into the episode. So the first thing happening this week that you're going to want to pay attention to is Mercury entering Taurus. This happens on May 10th at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And per usual, the date and time are from the website astroseek.com. What you need to know. When Mercury moves into Taurus, you will take on a much more slower but also deliberate pace when it comes to how you're communicating and thinking about things and making decisions. While Mercury in Taurus might not be the quickest thinker, it is a really great energy for being grounded, focusing on results, and being practical. So Mercury in Taurus is a really good time for building long-term plans, having more meaningful conversations, and also simplifying any very complicated situations you might find yourself in.
How you will feel. While Mercury's in Taurus, your thinking and communication is going to slow down and it's going to prefer things that feel consistent and reliable. Your thoughts will be more focused on practical matters like finances, long-term goals, or even improving your physical space. This energy will support you in completing any long-term tasks or things that you have been procrastinating because they require a lot of deep focus or a lot of time dedicated to them.
Where this will show up in your life. You might notice Mercury in Taurus when it comes to more day-to-day level tasks where you might feel more drawn to organize your schedule or commit to routines that can offer you a little bit more long-term stability. This is also a time where people in general want to have conversations around finances or other work-related planning, logistics type of conversations. In general, you might notice that people are way more focused on getting to the point in their conversations rather than beating around the bush. And you might feel a little bit more drawn to stick to what's familiar. And you might notice other people around you are making similar choices to choose what is more familiar.
What will become important to you? Mercury in Taurus is going to place more of your focus on stability, clarity, and tangible results. You might be drawn to creating more structure in your life, whether that means like updating your budget if you're more focused on your finances, or even just creating a timeline for the goals that you're working on. Your conversations might also feel a little bit more grounded and productive, like you're actively working towards achieving a goal of some kind. Because you're going to be focused on creating more stability and harmony, it's going to help you to create and also reinforce healthy and productive ways of communicating and thinking.
If you're wondering how long this lasts, Mercury will stay in Taurus until May 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when Mercury will enter Gemini.
Certain signs will be affected more than others. The signs that are most affected by Mercury and Taurus are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. Personal placements only, meaning Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, and or Mars.
There are some key dates you're going to want to pay attention to. These are the aspects that Mercury will make as it moves through Taurus. Starting off on May 12th, we have Mercury squaring Pluto, which can be a really tense but also revealing day where there can be a lot of deep conversations being had or sudden breakthroughs or realizations coming up. This is a good day for any type of research work you might be doing, but it's also going to be really important that you are mindful of overthinking about certain things or in the midst of those deep conversations, forcing your opinion onto others or expecting people to open up when maybe they aren't comfortable.
And then on May 18th, Mercury will be square Mars. This aspect can bring about a more frustrating energy, especially when it comes to the conversations that you're having with others. You might notice that you are very quick to respond because of the Mars energy, or like you are jumping to conclusions. So if you do notice some of those things coming up, this would be a good time to take a step back before you respond.
And then on May 23rd, Mars will sextile the North Node, which is a very supportive energy for taking action with purpose. So if there's been something you've been meaning to do that aligns with maybe a bigger goal or vision you have for yourself and your future, May 23rd might be a day that you start taking steps to move forward towards that.
And lastly, on May 24th, Mercury will be conjunct Uranus. You can expect to have new ideas or breakthroughs in your thinking on this day. Conversations might take unexpected turns, so it's really a good time to allow yourself to be open-minded and explore different ideas or different ways of thinking, because that could always lead to learning something new or exciting.
And the next thing happening in astrology that you're going to want to pay attention to is the full moon in Scorpio that will happen on May 12th at 12:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What you need to know, full moons are times of releasing where you are letting go of things that no longer serve you or creating space for new things to come forward. And since this is happening in the sign of Scorpio, this is going to be all about themes of vulnerability as well as emotional depth and also transformation. So if you feel that there are certain patterns or certain things weighing down on you from your past, or maybe even fears that are holding you back, this full moon in Scorpio will encourage you to work through whatever you feel is holding you back so that you can reclaim your power, but in a way that is more rooted in healing rather than in ego.
How you will feel during this full moon, your emotions will be a little bit more intense, and it also will bring about a very reflective energy. Because Scorpio really brings things to the surface, you might notice that some things are coming up for you that you have maybe been avoiding, or you haven't fully taken the time to explore. Even though this can be very emotional, it does help you to shift and come into more awareness about some of the different themes and things that are going on in your life. So really use this time to reflect and explore what it is that's coming up for you, whether that's through journaling, talking to others, or just using this as a time to really let go of things from the past.
So where this will show up in your life, this could manifest as having deep conversations with close ones, or feeling like you need to release pent up emotions. And in general, you might notice that there are big shifts happening at work or at home that could feel kind of like turning points. On a collective level, you'll probably notice there will be conversations around privacy, since that is something that Scorpio rules over and is something that is always very prominent in the media these days. So you can expect to see there to be some conversations had around that. But in general, this will most likely look like a time of wanting to do some healing, whether that is you feeling that way or noticing others around you feeling that way.
What will become important to you? During this full moon, you're going to care more about emotional honesty, resilience, and letting go of what no longer serves you. This might be a time where you choose to have conversations that are difficult but also necessary for your growth, to clean out your space physically, or even reassess and evaluate your boundaries and where you either need to set them or feel more confident in sticking to the boundaries that you have already set.
Certain signs will be affected more than others by this full moon. Those signs will be Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius. Personal placements only, so Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, and or Mars placements. And there are some aspects to this full moon that make this just a little bit more interesting. The first aspect worth noting is that the sun will be conjunct Uranus and the moon opposite Uranus, which can bring this strong desire for freedom. In general, full moons are about releasing, but if this feels sort of like you need to break free from feeling restricted, that can be largely contributed to Uranus's influence. So expect there to be some surprises and maybe some breakthroughs, but also just always proceed with caution since Uranus is the planet of the unexpected. While it's great to feel motivated to break free, you don't want to be careless in your actions.
The sun will also be sextile the North Node with the moon trine the North Node. This is a supportive aspect that's really going to help you to think more deeply about your path in life and where you're headed. Because this is a full moon and we're more focused on releasing and letting go, this could manifest as letting go of old emotions or habits so that you're able to focus more of your energy on things that feel meaningful and purposeful to you.
The moon will also trine Saturn, which should help make the energy feel much more grounded. In general, full moons tend to bring up a lot of emotions, and having a positive aspect to Saturn will allow you to stay grounded in all of the feelings that might be coming up, and will also help you honor the boundaries that you have and process the feelings you're experiencing with much more clarity than usual.
And then lastly, the moon will be trine Neptune. This is going to enhance your intuition and also your connection with your emotional self. This makes it a good time to explore your dreams, dive into creative work, or approach conversations with compassion and empathy.
And that is it for this week's episode. Just a reminder, next week we'll be talking all about Jupiter square the North Node. So if you want to know more about that, then make sure wherever you're listening to the podcast, you're subscribed with the notifications turned on so you don't miss when we post next week. But until then, that is all for now, and we'll see you all next Monday. Bye.